Justice is done and my people is done by the way of infection. Killing us slowly, erasing our history, death by the way of deception. God, do you know?
God, do you know what you are? God, do you know what you are?
Goddess, do you know?
Goddess, do you know what you are? Goddess, do you know what you are?
God, do you know?
Peace and Black Power family. It's your Harlem educator, author, and activist, the Black Liberation Coach, Brother Agyei Tyehimba. You know I'm filming live on location in that wonderful historical and political village of Harlem, New York. Hope you got a chance to see the promo clip we just did. We like to keep you all abreast of our upcoming events and classes, so to speak. Just to kind of review that real quick, on the 17th of this month, we're going to have Harlem Liberation School's annual Black Power Poetry Open Mic. Black Power Poetry, family. Talking about revolution, liberation, white supremacy, the different Black Power movements, civil rights movement, stuff like that is what we're talking about on April 17th during our Black Power Poetry Open Mic. And you can see the thumbnail for that particular event. We have an event right on Harlem Liberation School page on Facebook, family. And there's a link. Those of you who want to perform live, right? You can click on that link and you'll be right in the virtual studio with me. And you'll be able to spit your poetry and your lyrics live on April 17th. Those of you who just want to watch, go to Harlem Liberation School or Black Liberation University Facebook page. You can watch. But if you want to participate, there's a link. And if you go to the Facebook event page or Harlem Liberation School, you'll see the link on that date, sometime between 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern. Click on that link and you'll come into our studio. Now, I can only accommodate about 9 people. So if you don't get in, you just have to wait because that means the studio is occupied. Family, today we want to talk about, you know me, family. I believe every issue is important. You know, today we want to talk about, let me just pull up our information here. 7 tendencies that prove that we really, I mean, really, really, really need political education. I do want to, of course, thank those people, if you watch on the bottom, those people who support me on Patreon, and those people would include our sister Veronica Ankrum, Ron Riley, Amawole Jabali, Wajid Abba, Brother A. Howard, Tim and Eddie Miles, Yvette Coburn, Candice Carnage, and Brother Carl Tone Jones. I want to thank you for your monthly support. The money that you use to subscribe to my platform on Patreon helps me to do the work that I do. And it also helps me to stay independent, family, because the more independent we can be, our ability to pay our bills and get our food and not have to go to the goddamn white man to do it, it means the greater ability we have to be authentic in our activism, to express ourselves authentically, and to be vociferous and to challenge the enemy, because we not depend on the enemy for a paycheck. Right? Thank you for that, family. Also want to remind people, if they want to support the work in their own way, support my nation building work in particular, you can hit me up on Cash App, $TRUSELF143. And I just want to thank you all for that, because these things are very important. Now, let's get into these tendencies we have. First of all, quick review. Political education, what is it? When we say political education, family, what we're basically talking about is that body of information, that body of skill set, that body of philosophy that prepares us to do three things: wake up, clean up, and stand up. All of that information is included in what we call political education. And while our political education should be global, preparing our minds to deal with all types of concepts, peoples, social political movements, we definitely have to make sure that we have a solid Black political education, if nothing else. Okay, now, these are ways you know we desperately need Black political education, even right now. Even many of us who say we're conscious and we in the revolution and we pro-Black and we'll kusu and preach brother and ashe, we too are guilty of certain things that show we need Black political education desperately. Number one, this tendency we have to be surprised by acts of white inhumanity. So, Brother Devontae is shot and killed. Brother George has a knee in his neck. Brother Eric is put in a legal chokehold and killed, even while saying that he couldn't breathe. And you know, Black people all over the world, what was their response? I can't believe they did that. Oh my God, did you see what happened? And this really gets me. We treat this like it's some type of event. Did you see what happened to? Oh, did you? Oh, I can't believe that. And I want to say, why can't you believe that? Have you been living under a rock your entire life? Are you not aware? Have you seen none of the black and white videotape footage of the civil rights movement? Are you not aware of what happened to our people in Tulsa, Oklahoma, what they call the Black Wall Street? Are you unaware of what happened to our people in Rosewood? Are you not familiar with the Tuskegee experiment? I mean, the Scottsboro boys. I mean, we can go on and on and on. Family, understand this. Really, really understand this. Let's say this is Black Political Education 101. Number one, your enemy is going to be your enemy. In other words, the person that is your adversary, it's their job, family, to oppress you. If they're your oppressor, that means they're going to oppress you. They're going to penalize you, persecute you, cause you suffering and misery. We have prisons all around us. We have starvation. We have human trafficking of Black bodies. We have Black women that are missing, family, nowhere to be seen. We have Black people who have degree upon degree, and yet they are uh, blocked from getting meaningful employment. We have Black people whose YouTube channels are taken. Hello, like me. Black people who are participating in these different things, and white folks shut them down because they don't like their message and their purpose. What more has to happen for you to start understanding when you see white people killing Black people, disrespecting Black people, being egregious in their actions, being inhumane on every level? Understand, yeah, that's what they do, and that's what they've been doing. Don't be surprised. Be organized, get activated, do something about it. Stop acting like you ain't a part of a people that's been going through this for 400 or more years, family. Please. The fact that so many Black people say, oh my God, I can't believe they did this. That means we need political education, because if we had a solid political education, family, we would not be surprised. We would be surprised. You'd be like me. You'd be surprised when a white man didn't do something foul. You'd be surprised when the white man wasn't lynching Black people, wasn't trying to create all types of barriers to Black people voting, right? Wasn't trying to create legislation to send us back into slavery times. That's when you'd be surprised. But brutality doesn't surprise me at all coming from them. Number two, proof we need political education. Family, this does not apply to all of us. You know that. Some of you are strong and sharp as a razor. So I'm not talking to you, but the masses of our people is who I'm talking to. And if I can be honest, some of the people who call ourselves conscious, this applies to. Number two is the tendency for us to seek white people's acceptance, white people's acknowledgement, and white people's validation or pat on the damn head. I can't tell you how many black student unions I've spoken to. And they say, Brother IJ, we be trying to tell these white students, we human just like them, we want our education just like them, and we want jobs to take care of our families. And I said, that's your first mistake, because you're not here to seek their validation. You're not here to ask them permission. You're not here to get their rub on your head. They get it, they get it. They don't, they don't. We don't have energy to be going around trying to educate white folk, trying to help them alleviate their guilt, trying to assure them that it's okay, trying to prove our dignity and value and humanity to them. Hell no. You prove your dignity and your humanity by acting and thinking in a dignified way, by organizing yourselves, by having voice and agency, by building the institutions you need to be a free and dignified people. So the fact that so many of our people are still in 2021 so happy for white people to agree with them, so eager to teach white people and show white people what we know and brag about what our kid is doing or what we've done or where we're going to school to white folk, tells me we need political education. Number three, the tendency to believe and teach self-defeating ideas and practices. Stuff like, we can't use the enemy's tools. Huh? Well, that makes no sense. Plenty of revolutionaries in our tradition have used the enemy's educational system, have used the enemy's guns, have used the enemy's cars, have used the enemy's money. Stop it. Stop teaching the false teachings, family. If we had a solid political education, we would know that a tool is neutral. What gives the tool power, purpose, and meaning is the person wielding the tool. So one person comes with a gun that shoots out fire, and they go around the village setting everybody's house and property on fire and killing people, participating in genocide. They used a tool that was neutral. They used it for a negative reason. And then a brother or sister with consciousness comes with that same flame-throwing gun, and they use it to provide heat to people who don't have heat. Totally same tool, totally different use of the tool. So when we teach our people, you can't use the white man's tools, that is not correct. You cannot use the white man's tools the same way he uses them. That's what we should be teaching. But our people have always used the tool. If somebody's coming in your house with a gun and you beat them up and take their gun and use it to run them out, you're using their tool, but you're using their tool for a different purpose than they were using it for. They used it to cause terror in your home and to rob your home. You use it to drive their ass out of your home and prevent them from causing some type of horrific act in your home. So we gotta, or this thing, we don't need allies. It's just us. Wrong answer. Wrong answer. What people do you know in any revolutionary movement that did not seek to build relationship with allies? Name me one. You will be unable to do it. Of course we need allies. When I teach this, people come back to me, yeah, Brother IJ, but Baba John Henrik Clark said we have no friends. Yeah, he did say we have no friends, but he didn't say we shouldn't have allies. Friends and allies are not the same thing. Nobody says these people got to be your best friends, but you need allies. Why? Because there are resources you need, information, sometimes money, sometimes weapons, right? And you may not have them, but this other group of people might have them. So you need to build alliance with certain people to get the resources or the access to the resources that you need. Not to be buddy with everybody, but strategically, because you have to move forward with an agenda. These people have something you need. Let's be clear, family. Don't get confused. Don't get too symbolic with revolution. Revolution is very literal. Very literal. We are fighting for people to eat, have food, clothing, shelter, proper education, dignity, health care, political empowerment. And we're also fighting for the minds and hearts of our people to build their spirits up, to get our people out of despondency and depression, right? These are very literal things. These are not symbolic. And we make a mistake when we try to make everything about revolution so symbolic that we symbolize all the reality right the hell out of it. Revolution is tangible, right? And of course, one of the first things that a guerrilla warrior does, because what? They don't have the weapons of the conventional army they're fighting against. They're coming out there with baseball bats, family. They're coming out there with rocks and bottles against armies that have sophisticated weaponry. So what does the guerrilla army do? They come out there with their relatively speaking, their primitive weapons. They kill the enemy through surprising them, coming out at weird times, psychologically scaring them, take their weapons and use their weapons against them. Everybody knows this, but if you don't have political education, you won't know that. And you'll be going around here teaching things to our people that we really should know better by now. We should know better by now, right? Okay, number 4, because I don't want to be too long. The tendency to apologize for, defend, and work with known agents, informants, and Negro collaborators. Let's cut to the chase. Let's call them traitors. At this day and age, people are still walking around, giving money to, joining the organizations of, calling these people to their city when their son or daughter is shot and killed by the police. And these people are known informants. They are known to have worn wires for the government, or what the hood would call they are ops. They're known to be in the bed with the local police in your city. You know this, and yet you still say their name with great respect. You still invite them to speak at your rally. You still give them money. You still stand on the stage with them. If we had proper political education, we would know that such people must be exiled from our community. We cut off all funds. We don't give them access to our communities. We don't support, we don't buy their books, we don't buy any of their products, we don't support what they're talking about, and we challenge them everywhere we can and in every way we can. Like any nation, right? Nations deal with traitors in one of two ways. They either give them life in prison or they kill them, period. If you want to be merciful, you can say we exile them, but you can't come back here. Family, we got to get it together. Political education would have us on the right side of that issue. Number 5, our tendency to adopt or participate in movements and ideologies that are divisive and fail to challenge white supremacy. When we got people who are black and who love black people fighting for black people that are supporting a movement that hates black men or that hates black women, supporting a movement that scapegoats black men for all our problems or scapegoats black women for all our problems. We got a movement that's telling people that black youth are the worst. They're lazy, they're incorrigible, they can't get right. And you're supposed to be a person that's a black leader or down for black liberation. We got a problem because political education would teach us. I don't care what the ideology is. I don't care who supports. I don't care who wrote a book and what degree they got. If we're participating or supporting any type of movement, idea, or ideology that introduces more division in our community, that scapegoats, shames, or blames disproportionate elements of our community, that creates chaos and mayhem. And on top of all that, it does nothing to challenge white supremacy. It does nothing to help build infrastructure in our own community. Then it should be thrown away immediately. We should not adopt that. The fact that we don't know that, and the fact that the larger black community doesn't call that out and say, wait a minute, you're supposed to be for black liberation. If you for black liberation, how are you scapegoating all black women? How are you scapegoating all black men? How is it that the LGBT community is responsible for every problem in the black community? Come on, stop it. Stop it, right? But if you're not doing that, it means you don't have the right political education. Number 6, our general failure as a community to understand and to neutralize the counterintelligence tactics of our enemies. Oh, family, if I had $5 for every time I went to a lecture or presentation and I heard a brother or sister talk about COINTELPRO, right now I'd be a trillionaire. Right now, easily I'd be a trillionaire. The problem is, rarely are we talking about it in a way that is functional. We always talking about it like it's a boogeyman. Ooh, COINTELPRO, you know what they did? They did that, and they set this one up. They killed this leader. You better watch out for COINTELPRO. Like it's the boogeyman in the room. Like, we whisper it. We don't teach. We're supposed to be teaching our people how to stop counterintelligence tactics, how to neutralize them. And we do that by exposing our people to these very tactics that were used and are still used against us. Don't make it no spooky type of thing. Use it as an educational tool. So I have a live broadcast where I go through the counterintelligence program of the FBI, and we talk about how we neutralize each one of these things. That they're talking about what does this mean for us? How do we organize based on our knowledge of COINTELPRO? The fact that so many people are like, whoa, that's deep. I never thought of that. The fact that I don't see many of our so-called educators breaking down counterintelligence tactics, helping us understand the what, the why, the who, and then giving us strategy and tactics for countering that disturbs me. It makes me say we must not have a lot of political education, because a strong political education would teach us that we're not supposed to be teaching these things like there's some type of, in some whisper, some conspiracy theory. We're supposed to teach it from the standpoint of this is what it is and this is how we stop it. Straight like that. This is what it is, and these are ways we stop it. We identify it and we stop it. Right? And family, I got one more. Another reason I could tell we desperately need Black political education is our tendency to confuse fascist and reactionary behavior with being revolutionary. I've been in panel discussion when people said we need to destroy the Black church. We need to go and burn all the Black churches down. Really? What revolutionary objective will that meet? Don't you have family members that go to that attend Black churches that you love? Don't you realize that 85% of the Black community subscribes to a particular religious faith? Don't you understand that you just can't go around scapegoating an entire group because of their religious ideology without understanding that Black people take the religion of the white man so many times and Africanize it and make it their own, reinterpret it. This is how Nat Turner took the Bible, read the Bible. He said, "Oh, Black people are those Jews that are being persecuted. We got to fight back against our slave masters," and it led him to lead a revolt. So the point here is that we think speaking strong is enough, and sometimes you could speak very strong, and sometimes you could still be very wrong. Scapegoating the people, wanting to kill groups of our people who disagree, and assuming everybody who disagrees with you is your enemy or working with the enemy, that's leading you to the road of fascism. That's leading you to the road of fundamentalism, of ultra extremist thought that will make you a terrorist against your own people, will make you kill your own people, imprison your own people. Some of these brothers and sisters, I hear them speak, and I say, man, thank God they don't have access to a military, to a land base, and to an economy, because if they were the leader of a country, we'd be done. They'd be locking us up, killing us, firing squads, and all types of craziness. Just look at the dictators in various countries, some in Africa, some in Central America, South America, and you'll see what I mean. These are people that started off being these freedom fighters, start off with a nationalist and progressive socialist politic, and they went a little too far, and they began to confuse revolutionary behavior with reactionary behavior. And before you know it, these people, instead of revolutionaries, they became reactionaries. They became dictators and totalitarian leaders who were imprisoning their people, stealing the natural wealth of the country. Is terrible. We have to watch that. And a proper political education would help the larger community to see the signs of those type of people. They would say, whoa, this person sounds like they're going left, and we got to do something about that before they become too powerful for us to stop them. Family, before I end, I'm going to give you a bonus. I'm going to give you an eighth. I know I said 7, one more. The tendency, this is how I know we desperately need a solid Black political education. The tendency that we have to confuse sophomores with seniors in our community, and our seeming refusal to train and vet our leadership. What do I mean? Well, you know what a sophomore is, right? A sophomore is a person in their second year of high school or college. You know, sophomore is a Greek term. It literally means wise fool. What does that mean? Well, it means that at this stage, the student thinks, oh, they got a year, they've done a year, they're in their second year. They got it all figured out. They know everything. You can't tell them nothing. They got it figured out. So that's why they call them a wise fool, right? Sophomore, as opposed to a senior who has in the completion of their degree. They've gone through all these requirements. They met all the requirements successfully, satisfactorily. They finished their degree. They still got more to learn, and they know it. The sophomore is supposed to indicate a wise fool. That's a Greek term, right? So what we want to do in our community is make sure that we don't confuse people who are new to Black consciousness, people who read a book, saw a documentary, they took a picture with this one, they went to this rally, but they're not steeped deeply enough in consciousness. They haven't done enough. They haven't learned enough. They haven't been around long enough. They haven't engaged the community. They haven't engaged the enemy. And now we just looking at them like a leader because they say they are. No, we have to vet our leadership. If we love ourselves, it means we expect and demand the best. We don't tolerate people coming before us who are unprepared, unstudied, uninformed, uninvolved. You know what we want, family? This is what we want for our leadership. We want to vet them. This means we want resumes, we want references, we want receipts. You say this person was your juggernaut, you was doing this and you were doing this in this year. We need receipts. Where's the pictures? Where are the people in the community, the references that are vouched for you? Where's your resume? Where have you worked? What organizations did you lead? What movements were you involved in? What protests and rallies did you participate in? Were you effective? This is what we got to start doing. If we love ourselves and we had a strong Black political education, there'd be some of these popcorn, peanut, Pop-Tart leaders. They wouldn't stand a chance. We would run their ass right out of our community. Because first of all, we say this person doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. This person is misquoting stuff. This person is lying. This person wasn't even there where they say they were. This person didn't know the people they say they knew. This person is stealing from the people. This person is being oppressive and like a bully with people. And we'd run their ass right out of our community. You go to other communities, they won't tolerate that. They won't tolerate no shysters, no fraudulent leaders, no people that's just trying to make a buck. They're gonna find out and they're gonna get them out of there. What we tend to do is not vet our leaders. And so there's no wonder we wind up with people who are not sincere and who are not right and exact. I see we got some people on the there. We got my beautiful queen, Queen Brenda in the building. We got my main man, the Mighty Moore, Brother Ishmael Bey in the building. We'll cruise it right back to you, good brother. Good to see you on the thread, man. And so, family, it's very important. I know you think that I'm just making this stuff up, but trust me, maybe after I die, 80 years after I die, somebody's gonna say, you know what? That brother Agyei was on to something there. He's right. We should have done a better job of investigating people's backgrounds. Because family, if you don't, I'm telling you, You're gonna get sophomores running your stuff. You want the seniors running stuff. Trust me. You want seasoned individuals who've been there, they're tested, they're tried, tested, and true. You can depend on they're not gonna be running away. Their knees ain't gonna be shaking. They ain't gonna be scared to tell them secrets of the organization. They've been tested. You know you can depend on them. Now that's not to say that we don't make room for sophomores, because that's how we get our new leaders. So yeah, we make room for new leaders, but they have to be what? Groomed, trained, right? This is why I said we have to vet and train our leadership, family, or else we're going to get duped every time. With that said, family, I got 3 words, and those 3 words are: no matter what they tell you, I'm here to tell you. We organize, we study and prepare, we be humble and hardworking, and we work to get along with our people. We will win. I want to thank you for joining us. Peace. Black Power, Wukusu, free the land. I will see all of you soon. Don't forget April 17th. Harlem Liberation School is having our annual Black Power Poetry Open Mic. We hope you go to Facebook, to the Harlem Liberation School page, check out the event, and definitely click that special link that you'll see if you want to actually be a live poetry participant on April 17th. Thank you, family, for listening. Have a blessed evening. Peace.